Like, now you've lost your star striker. Like, this could get worse. This could fucking derail everything now. It really, really could. But that's Man United's fault, not mine. Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday evening. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. Hope you're all looking forward to the rest of your day, and I hope you're looking forward to the rest of this weekend in November 2023 this year. First of all, do a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video. Hit the tweet button. Hit the retweet button. Remember to always put notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the last few weeks in this year in 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Rocket League Season 12, more EA Sports FC 24 content, more previews, more match reactions, and much more brand new stuff planned in these last few weeks in November and in December 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Good evening to all your legends and all your legendary people, and welcome to your Premier League reaction this evening between Manchester United and Luton Town at Old Trafford this evening on match day 12 of the 2023-24 Premier League season. And as the title clearly states, again, Manchester United scraping the barrel against the newly promoted teams. Victor Lindelof to the rescue. I mean, that performance today against Luton was as vulnerable as a pigeon being chased by a cat. Honestly, that Man United performance today, it was very piss poor. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. Man United struggled to break down a Luton Town team. Like, words I never thought I would say as a Man United fan. How have we won that game today? Because it was bloody dreadful. Some of the football today was embarrassing. Quite frankly, shocking to watch at times. And I think for me, Luton Town are going to come away with Old Trafford empty-handed. I'm feeling very sorry for themselves because that whole Man United performance today, it got no one excited. It got no one off their seat. And Man United, and I kept saying this, we are scraping the barrel. Like, if we are struggling to break down teams like Luton Town at home, at Old Trafford, that is meant to be a fortress, then Man United have got a lot more questions than answers that they need to find in their heart to basically come out and justify how lucky that was from us today. Man United, at the moment, it doesn't look like a club that has got any clue what to do on the pitch. The players, there's a lack of excitement in their performances. And the identity, scraping the barrel by winning 1-0 against Luton. Like, United, again, it was scramble FC. It was really, really scrambled at times to try and find that goal to win this game today. And for the whole 45 minutes in the first half, like, I was watching the game and I was, watching in awe of Luton Town's defensive work to keep Manchester United out. And I think, fair play to them to getting United in at half-time at 0-0 because Luton Town could be really, really proud of themselves. I thought they come to Old Trafford and actually played very, very well. Like, they did have their chances. They did break Manchester United on the counter-attack. And they did create opportunities for themselves to score. But at the end of the day, like, Man United are scrambling to find late winners to try and win games against teams that you would have thought Man United would have put away to the sword today. And we're struggling to break down Luton. Like, a newly promoted team that have come up through the playoff system by beating Coventry in that playoff final last season. I honestly thought Manchester United would have looked at Luton today and they would have looked at their performances so far in this Premier League campaign, 12 games in, and I honestly thought Manchester United would have found a few more goals today to settle their performance and get the win we actually needed to head into this international break, which was vital for Man United to find the win today. But winning 1-0 at Old Trafford, where we are trying to turn this place into a fortress again, we are trying to be the better team, but teams are coming to Old Trafford and are simply outplaying us at times, defensively are working their ass off, and basically parking the bus, keeping United out. And Luton's game plan worked. Like, to get Man United in 0-0 at half-time is something to be rewarded. It is something to be proud of. And from from my personal view and my opinion, like I expected Man United to put Luton Town comfortably away today and score a few decent goals to make the performance a lot more justified than what it is in the title. But the struggles in front of goal are continuing from our front three. The midfield crisis seems to be getting worse. And as for the back four, that has got even more injuries than a paper cut. Man United have got to find themselves very lucky today that they won this game, because at half-time, you're thinking to yourself as a United fan and as a United supporter, you're struggling to come to terms with how the hell aren't we winning this game? How have we not scored in the first half? And how have Luton Town managed to get us in at half-time at 0-0? And I think those players today were very, very poor. I think the chances we did create on goal, we should have buried. There's no question about that our goal-scoring problems are now becoming a major issue. We are not scoring enough goals. We are not finding the back of the net more often. And unfortunately, Man United are having to rely on their back four to find the winning goal today, to scrape past Luton Town. And I mean, thank God Victor Lindelof was there to smash that ball in through the corner. Man United's first goal from a corner all season. And it was a good pass, quick from Mason Mount to quickly find Rashford, who, drilled his own shot into the Man United and Luton Town players. And luckily, that ball has rebounded and fell quite comfortably to Victor Lindelof to smash the ball in. But at the end of the day, you would have thought like an unlikely goal scorer, an unlikely match winner, and I would have thought that first goal would have fired us up. But Luton Town kept coming and coming and coming and coming. They kept huffing and puffing. And they did tire away because they knew they couldn't break that Man United defensive down. And I think, it's a clean sheet. And I get we've not conceded a goal. But the whole performance today, it lacked a lack of character. I think the lack of the midfield options are becoming an issue now. And I honestly think now we have got major issues regarding injuries to certain key players that have come off injured again for United today. When you think the injury crisis is over, the injury crisis has now got a lot worse. And unfortunately, United are heading into an international break for 2 weeks again, which is unfortunate. Scratching our heads thinking, how many more injuries are we going to pick up? Because we've lost Christian Eriksen and no one was around him. And it looked like his knee has given way. So it looks like Eriksen is going to be out injured long term, which is a major, major blow for this club because he's one of our best midfield players. And then when you lose your best striker, this club's probably had in years, it's very, very worrying. Like Rasmus Højlund had to come off the game tonight due to a slight pull in his hamstring. And United stupidly kept him on for 3 or 4 minutes more, knowing his hamstring is gone. And they should have got him off straight away. When we had the opportunity to take the corner, they should have brought Rasmus off then. And unfortunately now, more injuries have basically wrecked our season because the injury to Eriksen looks really bad. If your knee's given away when no one's around you and not touching the ball, or no one's put a tackle on, and Eriksen's knee has just gone like that, clearly there is a bloody issue there in Eriksen's knee that it was so bad that he had to come off. And, Mason Mount did come on to replace him. And I thought there was something in there today from Mount that I think in the second half, he did okay. He didn't do brilliant. I thought he was okay at best. But I think for me, there is still a lack of confidence in Mason Mount's play. There seems a lack of goal-scoring threat from the midfield. And I think for me, he doesn't really make the runs into the box a midfielder I think would make in a Man United shirt. And I think this is why we are lacking so many goals. I think we are too afraid to make those crucial efforts to try and find the back of the net. And I think this is why the midfield looks so imbalanced.
Wow. I'll then put them on your bed. Most people do his bed in a minute, all right?
Yeah. It just looks like, a Man United team that is running out of ideas, running out of creativity. And I think if we can't find the back of the net, which is now a major issue going towards, Christmas, where it's always a packed and congested fixture list, I struggle to see where Man United are going to be able to find the goals from. Like Rasmus Højlund now out injured due to his hamstring. That's a big problem because you are then left with Anthony Martial. And again, when he was brought on for Rasmus in the second half, when we had to take him off due to the injury he's got, Martial did not rip up trees and didn't really come on and really affect the gameplay. It didn't really change the dynamic of the game, and it didn't really bring any attacking threat. What Rasmus Højlund can do in a Man United shirt, Martial has not got that movement in him to make a movement towards the ball to try and get on to a cross or towards a ball into the box. I think Martial was basically just brought on to, make the numbers up, to try and bring the second half game to close and run time out, because I think Luton Town were really, really frustrating United all day. And I think this is why United didn't score enough goals. Like winning 1-0, it's a win. Okay, it's 3 points. But at the end of the day, this is Manchester United we're talking about. And I did say that this team has got a lack of goals in it. And clearly, again today, you see the amount of chances Rasmus Højlund has on goal. And I know he's only 20 and he's a young striker who's still got a lot of development and a lot of work in him to be able to become that top elite striker, which I still think he's going to become. But unfortunately, the opportunity he had on goal today, he really should have buried. And unfortunately, it should have gone in the back of the net. And he also had a very, very decent chance in the second half through a Fernandes assist from the corner being taken. He gets a good header onto the ball, but it's gone inches wide of the Luton Town net. And that's two glorious chances that really a top striker, if United had one, would bury those sort of chances. And I think for me today, we are seeing the full effect of the pressure on such a young striker's shoulders that Rasmus is now feeling it. And I think to me, that feeling of frustration and trying to make decent moves on and off the ball and trying to be the main threat up front and trying to hold the ball up in front of the defensive back four of Luton Town today, I think Rasmus has massively overdone it. And I think, the commentating today on the game when I was watching it, I don't know why Manchester United keep playing Højlund every week. I don't know why Manchester United are constantly overusing Rasmus in every game to find the back of the net. Well, if I was that commentating team, I would be very, very embarrassed by your comments and your views and your opinions, because you've clearly got no clue what Man United are going through. You've clearly got no idea that the striking issue at this club has never been resolved. And you've clearly got a lack of knowledge about what Rasmus Højlund offers in a Man United shirt. Rasmus Højlund is having to play every game because the rest of the strikers we have are shit. That is the simple answer in terms of simple knowledge. The rest of the strikers we have at this football club are shit. And you're complaining that Rasmus has too much game time. We've got important Champions League games. We've still got the FA Cup. We've still got more Premier League football after the 2-week international break. What are they going to do without Rasmus if he's done his hamstring? Well, that is Man United's own fault. They should have signed 2 strikers in the summer. And that is why Man United, I think, are now going to have to do something in January, because if Rasmus is out for weeks, or at least till after Christmas, we ain't got no striker. You can't put Martial down the middle and pretend everything's okay, because, like I said, when he was brought on, he did fuck all to change the game. He didn't bring any attacking quality or free attacking, free-flowing football. He did fuck all to make anything happen. That substitution was simply made just to run time down. That was simply the whole substitution. And Rasmus had to come off. There was no way Rasmus was going to be able to carry on. And I looked at the disappointment in his face when he came off, and that hamstring injury is bad. I think we clearly know just by his body language and the facial expression that I think Rasmus Højlund knows that this injury is bad, and he's giving his all in the Man United shirt, and he's trying to do his best for this club, what he can do. But I think he realises that he's being played way too much. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to play because aren't got a lot. We've got no other goal scorer. So I think the commentating team need to have a hard-on look today at their comments about, the striking options at United. Like, if Man United would have got Harry Kane and Rasmus, we would not have this issue. So at the end of the day, this is kind of on Manchester United at the end of the day for letting Rasmus Højlund carry on with a really bad-looking hamstring injury in the first place. They should have just made the substitution when they were about to make it, but letting him carry on for 3 or 4 minutes more, the more damage you are more likely to do to your hamstring. And, your hamstrings are the most painful, for me, injury in football. Once you feel your hamstring and it's gone, you can't carry on because that hamstring injury is too severe for you to even walk. It causes so much problems at the back of your leg. Like, you can't carry on that type of injury. And like I said for Rasmus today, like, he could have had another 3 goals today. I think if he would have took his chance he had in the first half, it would have been a great goal. And then if he had taken his chance in the second half, again, another great goal. His movement is quality. Like, I've not seen a striker's movement like that since the days of Robin van Persie. I've not seen the movement like that of the day since Ruud van Nistelrooy and Wayne Rooney. We've got a world-class striker who's actually giving us all. And I think today, like, he did play very well and did create opportunities for himself to score. He didn't take them. And that, again, is a worry today because that is now 18 games he's not this season and he's not scored once in the Premier League. And I think that is down to nurturing him into the English game, into the Premier League, a different style and a different tempo of play. And I think he's still trying to understand the Premier League life of Premier League football. Like, a striker does take time to find the back of the net in the Premier League, but I think the impatience is going to start running out because, when you're relying on Lindelof to get you the winner today, due to the lack of threat from the front three, no wonder Man United aren't scoring enough goals. Like, I know, people are going to say, well, at least Man United won, but at the end of the day, they're getting over the line only just. It's like knowing that if you're in an F1 race and you're Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen and you've got a slight issue with the car and you're trying to limp home into limp home mode. That is what reminded me of Man United today. It did remind me of Manchester United just trying to limp home. They were really just trying to get over the line today. And I think for Man United, that is a pretty shit acknowledgement that you're not really trying to bust a gut against Luton Town, who you've probably gone into the game today thinking, we're going to rip these apart. We're going to destroy them. This is going to be a very comfortable afternoon. We don't really need to try and do much. We'll try and bust a gut to try and get over the line and win this game today. But I think that's the comprehension of these Man United players. I think today, the cockiness is there. I think the lack of attitude or understanding what Luton Town have actually achieved in this season is second to none. They've been a very good team. They've adapted to Premier League football very, very well. And I think Man United didn't show Luton Town any respect. And I think that is why United didn't really want to try and batter them because they thought, you know what, the win's already guaranteed. We don't really need to worry about our own performances. Let's just try and get that goal. And we know we've won the game. We know Luton Town haven't really got the players in their squad to cause us much of a problem. But at the end of the day, you would have expected Man United to have taken full advantage of the defensive woes of Luton's back four and the midfield lack of midfield quality that is quite clearly showing in a Luton team that they're still adapting, but they're doing all right. And I think, they're going to come out of that game today very hard done by because they did have a glorious chance on goal today. And I mean, thank God Onana made the save he did today because Carlton Morris gets a great header onto the cross from out when the Luton player put the ball into the box. And Morris has got an absolute clean header on goal, completely unmarked. And Onana's actually made a very decent save. If he scores that, Man United are losing to Luton. We would have been 1-0 down. And for me, that would have been embarrassing. Like, you are 1-0 down to Luton Town. I mean, how the fuck would you have come back from that? Even if Man United would have gone 1-0 down, I don't think we would have responded. Because I looked at the whole second half performances and I looked at the whole atmosphere. I looked at the charisma from the team. And it didn't look like we were going to find the back of the net. And it's a major worry. Like, we're not scoring enough goals. And I think Ten Hag has come to realise that Rasmus, if this hamstring injury is bad, he's stuck with Martial up front. Like, we all know Martial shouldn't even be in this United squad anyway. He ain't fucking good enough. And I think Ten Hag's worried that eventually he's going to be left between a rock and a hard place, wondering, where the fuck are these goals coming from? And it is a worry because, like I said, if Rasmus would have scored those 2 chances he had, United would have won this game 2 or 3-0. But, you know, thank God Lindelof was in the right place at the right time just to smash the ball home, because otherwise this match reaction would have been a lot different to what I was planning, because I was fully planned to do a reaction here, stalemate, Luton Town embarrass Manchester United. Like, I was preparing for that outcome today on this reaction because I didn't know how this Man United team were going to win. It just didn't look like a team that were really trying to, you know, push themselves today. And for me, if they're not really trying to push themselves, then this team has got issues that they need to sort in the squad in the next 2 weeks, because, you know, I don't think this international break is going to help anyone. Like, I don't know why play 2 pointless, you know, qualifiers for the Euros when we've already bloody qualified for it, and every player is probably going to go away on international duty, and they're going to come back, and we're going to get even more injuries. And I think, you know, that is where it's going wrong now. Like, the lack of squad depth, the lack of quality we've got going forward. There is issues all over that team today, and I don't think any of those players really can cover themselves in any type of glory, because it was just a very boring game, because you knew United were going to dominate the ball. You knew United were going to dominate possession, and Luton Town was like, right, we'll park the bus, we'll let United attack us, and now we'll counter-attack them on the counter-attack. And I think the game plan for Rob Edwards, from a Luton's perspective, it worked a bloody treat. It worked miracles. And I think, you know, Rob Edwards, the Luton manager, would have gone into half-time thinking, what a bloody performance. Like, you lot should be really proud of what you've done in the second half. In the first half, you've taken United to 0-0. You've kept a clean sheet. You're keeping them out. And maybe we can scrape something here. Maybe a point, or maybe even a lucky 1-0 win. I think if Luton would have scored that goal from Carlton Morris, like, United are going to half-time 1-0 down to Luton, and I don't know how those players would have really responded to going a goal down against a team on paper you really think Man United should be beaten. And I think today said a lot about the whole atmosphere of the squad and the players. It just didn't look like this team really gave a shit to try and, you know, motor over the line. And I would like to see a more comprehensive, you know, victory from a Man United side that I know's got goals in, but those goals don't seem to happen. You know, again today, the whole front three, it was just so annoying and frustrating, because Rashford, the one-on-one chance he had with the Luton goalkeeper, Kaminsky, like, he should be burying that. There is no excuses, again today, from a Marcus Rashford point of view, that how is he not finding the back of the net from the angle he had on goal? And then from the first half as well, Rasmus Højlund has slipped Garnacho in, one-on-one with Kaminsky, the Luton Town goalkeeper. He takes a great first touch, but then what annoys me and frustrates me about Garnacho, he then takes another second touch to go round the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's got the ball, and basically Luton then clear the ball out of danger. And Garnacho, I just think, really, for me, in that angle, I really would have shot first time. I think that is, for me, what Garnacho should have done. Instead of just trying to be a wizard and trying to turn into Prime Ronaldo and go round the goalkeeper, I think, for me, he had the opportunity to loop the ball over the goalkeeper or just try and smash it first time. I think, you know, that goal would have done Garnacho a world of confidence. And again today, another frustrating from a young potential world-class player that at the moment seems very, very unattractive towards trying to make something happen. And I think, again, we are lethargic. It looks like a very, very stale game. Like, United are having to rely on Moments FC again to try and find wins against Luton Town. Like, for me, that isn't Man United. That is a boring Mourinho 2.0 football. It's like Mourinho's back in charge. And I think, for me, at the end of the day, that United have got to count themselves lucky Lindelof's gotten the winner, because if this finishes 0-0, it's going to be embarrassing. Like, it's not going to be, oh, look at us. We, at least we won and got the points. But yeah, your whole performance from all 11 players today, it didn't cover themselves in any stardust or any type of glory because you're scraping the barrel again. Like, you should be beating these teams quite comfortably when you've got home advantage. You would have thought Luton Town would have come to Old Trafford and thought, shit, I don't know what we're going to get here today. But in the end, I'm actually quite proud of what Luton did to us because that shows a Premier League team that actually belongs. Like, if that was another Championship team, they would get turned over. And I think for me, that is what made Luton the better team today. And I think, I think they're going to be frustrated. They're going to look at that and thinking they've been basically robbed. And I think for me, they're going to look at it and think, do you know what? What we did today, even though we've lost the game and we've come away with nothing, we've shown that we actually do belong in this division. And I think they're going to be proud of what they did in the first 45 minutes. They were holding Man United out, keeping the ball out of the net. And I think for me, if you have to give a man a match contender for one of their players, it's Kaminsky, their goalkeeper. I mean, there's a bloody goalkeeper there. There is a goalkeeper in Kaminsky. And I think for me, some of the saves he was pulling off today was absolutely world class. Like, Mctominay had a glorious chance near the end to make the game a bit more comfortable in scoreline, but makes a great dive and save like Onana did for Carlton Morris in the first half. So, Kaminsky is a great goalkeeper and even makes a great save from Rashford. Not like the shot from Rashford was that fantastic. So, I think for me, he's a clear man of the match winner from a Luton Town point of view. But you can look at Man United and you look at the players that were in that team today. Like, again, we've lost 3 injuries in one match, which is a major blow to Erik ten Hag, that these injuries are now a bloody problem and a major concern for the rest of the season because, example A, Wan-Bissaka was fit and played against FC Copenhagen, played against Newcastle, played against Fulham, and today has had to pull out the squad for injury. Point 2, Eriksen looks like he's gone off with a bad knee injury. And point 3, Rasmus Højlund's done his fucking hamstring. And I think Ten Hag is going to be left in, an awkward situation where he's going to have to start picking a team that has got players playing out of position and players in the squad that he probably doesn't even want to use now, but he's going to have to end up using because he hasn't got the options, I think, for me, available to keep going till at least Christmas. I don't think for me after today, this squad can cope till Christmas. I think United are going to have to do something in January. They're going to have to bring a striker in. They're going to have to bring in another winger. And I think for me also, you might have to bring a right back in or even another centre back because, again, the back four today, I thought the back four was a lot more balanced than what it was on Wednesday night when we had Diallo playing at left back. But again, today, the frustration from Diego Diallo is, look, how many more times do I have to keep comprehending how bad his performances are getting? I think Diego Diallo is getting worse. Like, he was crap against Copenhagen. And again today, some of the passes he tried to make or things he tried to make happen were falling off him. Like, it didn't even make a 5-yard pass properly. Apparently, everyone thinks that Diego Diallo is the right back that is going to help Man United long term. Again today, I don't know what people are smoking, but at the end of the day, can we just be really realistic now that Diallo needs to be dropped from this team? Or for me, in my view, I would bloody sell him because at the end of the day, he is a crap right back that can't get forward with the ball, can't put a great cross or even make a great tackle or even make a simple 5-yard pass. Like, my nephew is only 5 and he could make a simple 5-yard pass a lot more than what Diego Diallo is showing. And that is saying a lot. And he's only 5 and he can control the ball and actually make a pass to a teammate properly. Diallo just can't do it. And I think for me today, the injury to Wan-Bissaka is bad. Again, I said this about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Injury prone. And we're still relying on players that are picking up 2, 3, 4 injuries a season that are ruling them out for half the calendar. Like, at the end of the day, United need to be brutal in the summer. And I think, again, in January, United are going to have to spend some money. Like, don't believe people what they tell you that there ain't no money to spend, because there is money to spend. Man United have got money and they are going to have to spend it. Like, once the Jim Ratcliffe buys his football club, unfortunately, and buys a 25% minority stake, he is going to have to inject 200 to 300 million in January, and United are going to have to spend it. Fuck financial fair play. It's bullshit, and fuck all the sell to buy bollocks, because that squad today has lost 3 key players for the next 2 or 3 months, in my view. A hamstring injury to Rasmus is not going to help him. That's a bad hamstring, Paul. A hamstring injury could keep you up 2-3 months. Eriksen, an injury, that could be a season over. And if Aaron Wan-Bissaka, whatever's wrong with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, by the way, if that's out till Christmas, till January or February, that's on top of Casemiro and Martinez and Ahmad. Like, United's injury problems are getting worse. It's no excuse, by the way. Like, I still believe they have got the players to, perform. But when you're playing players out of position, which we all know doesn't work, United are going to cause their own downfall. So I think today, the 3 injuries we've lost are going to make this team worse. And I think, having Martial up front over Højlund is going to be a big problem. And I'm hoping that hamstring injury isn't going to be bad and it rules him out for 2-3 months. Because if we're having to witness Martial, you might as well forfeit the rest of the season, because he will not score you the goals. And the whole team today, it just looked like a team that didn't really care. It looked like a team that didn't really want to turn up. And I think for me as a whole, defensively, we did look very strong. But some of the chances we were conceding to Luton, like, we're not even man marking properly. I mean, our back four is shambolic. I mean, Harry Maguire again today, like, what a useless BFG. Like, honestly, the BFG, the big friendly giant, could defend a lot better than Harry Maguire and can actually make, passes to his teammates properly. And, it doesn't help. Like, I was glad Reguilon was back in, because we did need to balance the back four properly. Because Reguilon, for me today, it looks better with, Reguilon in that team. Man United do look a lot more comprehensive going forward. We actually got a left back that can bomb down that left flank and, get balls into the box, crosses into the penalty area, and can actually make, chances happen. So I was glad that Reguilon was back in, but today did look kind of rusty. It didn't look like, it was very convincing from his point of view, and maybe that is just nerves, or maybe, that injury we are trying to nurse him back in instead of trying to rush the lad. I'm not 100% sure why Reguilon wasn't, as key as what I thought he was going to be, but I was glad he was back in, because he was one of my favourite players. And I think for me today, making that second half substitution to bring him off was probably the correct one. I think for me, today, I think, United look better going forward with the left back between Reguilon and Marcus Rashford. I know they didn't exactly connect very well as what they've done in other games, but I think what the piece of football I liked today was when Rashford, he has got a Luton player here and a Luton player here, and he's got Rashford's then seen a gap between the two. So you've got Luton centre-back here, Luton centre-back here, and Rashford spots a gap between the two centre-backs, which goes around them. And Rashford pings a beautiful chipped ball through to Reguilon, and it looks like the ball's going to go out, but Reguilon keeps the ball in and still makes an opportunity happen, and still makes an opportunity on goal to maybe burst the Luton net. And that is what I liked about Reguilon's performance as a whole, that Luke Shaw can't do that. Malacia cannot do that. And I think for me today, that is glimpses of what Reguilon offers in a United shirt. And I was actually quite proud of his commitment, because he easily could have given up for that ball and not run onto it. So I think for me, that is what makes Reguilon a lot better left back than Luke Shaw and Malacia are ever going to do. But apart from that, Rashford again today, it is more and more frustrating that this guy who's apparently world class and apparently is offering Manchester United quite a lot going forward, had a one-on-one chance with Kaminsky he can't even bury. Like maybe Marcus Rashford has got his head too much buried in nightclubs in Manchester when he keeps going out drinking and trying to drink every drink in the UK and trying to go out clubbing and dancing with multiple people and trying to make himself look like God's gift. But at the end of today, that one-on-one chance he has with Kaminsky, he should really be burying that. And I think for me, that is why he didn't score the goal he did. And I think, the shot he did, Kaminsky's made a good save. But Rashford, again, should be burying that. And again, today, there's a guy there that is lacking any sign of confidence. Even Ten Hag said in the press conference yesterday, Rashford's not happy, we're not happy. I think if Marcus Rashford does not find the back of the net for the rest of this season, I'm sorry to say his career at Man United has got to come to an end in the summer, because there's a guy there that doesn't look up for it, doesn't show any type of fight, and there's a player there who's got his head too much buried in drinks, free school meals and book deals to not focus on his football. And I think for me, if he would have taken that chance one-on-one with Kaminsky, which Rashford should have scored, the game was more comfortable. And United know they've got a 2-goal lead, a clean sheet, 3 points and an easy home win. But United today, without that threat, we don't really have, we don't really have a striker. We don't really have 2 wingers. And I think United, like I said, what's annoyed me is that key targets we wanted this summer, and we were going to try and do something in January. Like, what's annoyed me is if the opportunity came now to sell Garnacho, Rashford, Martial, Sancho, and Antony, I would have to do it. Like, I would really have to consider selling all 5 of them. Sancho, Martial, Rashford, Antony, and Garnacho. Because at the moment, United can't keep relying on Rasmus Højlund. He's going to pick injuries up like he's done today. And I think for me also, Garnacho isn't good enough. Sancho looks like he's going to go in January anyway. I think Man United are going to have to find a seller for Martial. And I think Antony, if he keeps showing the form he's showing, like, that has got to be considered a sell point as well. I think United might have to do something crazy. And I think if United can get some decent money for Antony and Rashford, Martial and Sancho and Garnacho, I think there's 250 to 200 million for Rashford. There's maybe 50 for Sancho, maybe 50, 60 for Garnacho, there's 310. 20 for Martial, there's 330. And maybe Antony, maybe 50, 60. So there's nearly 390 million there. And I think United could go out and get, 2 world-class wingers, a world-class striker, and maybe another midfielder. Because if Eriksen's out, as well as Casemiro, so you've lost mainly. We basically are relying on one man to find goals, and that is Højlund alone, because the rest of them ain't good enough. And some of them don't even want to be at this club anymore. Not mention any names. Sancho. So, United are going to have to do something, and they're going to have to pull something off in January. They've got to. They can't keep carrying on like this. So, United are going to have to get to work, and they're going to have to spend some money. You can't use financial fair play. It's lies. And you can't use sell to buy. It's bullshit. You can't keep using excuses to get away with that incompetence. It isn't fair. Like, you can't get to a manager that actually gets what we're trying to do. You can't keep lying to the fans. You can't keep lying to supporters saying there is no money available. There is money. And the problem is, Man United now are going to have to try and find money. And the money is there. I do believe there is money. I've always been told by several people connected to Manchester United, the money is there. It's just lies and bullshit to cover the club's incompetence up every single January and summer transfer window. So I would have to be, for me, after today, I'd be going out all out for Victor Osimhen. I would be trying to go all out for Mitoma. Even though he signed a new contract, I would still try and get him out of Brighton. And for me, Osimhen has to come in. Like, we need that striker. Man United, we've been linked to Ivan Toney. There is no way people are going to pay 100 million for Brentford's price tag. Not a bloody chance. There is no way they are going to... no one's going to pay 100 million for Ivan Toney, especially when he's not played for 8 months. So I don't think no club will do that unless Man United do something miraculous. But, after today, I think, that United squad is lucky they've even won, because today it was a very, very fragile performance from a bunch of fragile players that look like the fight's gone, the character's lacking, and this squad just looks disconnected. In every position we've got, I think this team is trying to over-try too much or trying to do stupid things on the pitch that ain't possible. And I think for me today, this is why United won 1-0. Like, if you're relying on Lindelof to get you your goal, does that not state quite a lot where we are? That we ain't got no strikers, our wingers are selfish, and Ten Hag has basically been tied with two hands behind his back by shit owners and an incompetent board. I think United, are lucky they've won. And I think they're very lucky they've beat Luton, because today Luton could have come to Old Trafford and got a famous point in their debut season in the Premier League. They've never been here. And I think for me, Rob Edwards and his team, fans, supporters, players, squad and his coaching staff, and everyone connected with Luton Town Football Club should be very, very proud of what they've done today, because you have come to Old Trafford and basically outplayed us. And it is embarrassing from a United fan point of view. It is quite sad to admit that, Man United are failing. We are not getting any better. The football looks massively off of where we were last season. And the squad of players we've got, I just don't think care anymore. And I think, like I said, in previous seasons, that what they did to Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes and Solskjaer and Ragnick, I still think we're heading down that road very, very slowly. But I think, 2 wins from 2 in the Premier League is good. But I think it would have been a lot better in the international break if we would have won that game in midweek against FC Copenhagen in the Champions League group stage or match day 4. I think it would have been a lot better and a lot more comprehensive and a lot more free, relaxing week. And I still think there is going to be criticism there from United today. I think, Ten Hag is not going to be satisfied with his team's performance. I think, the chances they did have, United should have found the net. Like, Mctominay could have scored twice. Rasmus could have scored twice. Rashford could have scored. United really, on paper, should be winning this game by 5, 6, 7 goals. And to scrape by with 1-0 due to Lindelof, I mean, it's not... I'm not saying, like he didn't deserve to score. And, but at the end of the day, if we're looking at it, what do we want goals more from? Our centre-backs, our midfield, or our strikers? I think I know what option I would be going for if I wanted to find the back of the net. And unfortunately today, it did show quite a lot. So I think Man United are going to look at this performance and think to themselves, do you know what? We've got lucky today, because that isn't great. That isn't, what we were expecting to do or achieve today. And I think those players should be having a hard long look tonight and how to improve themselves on the pitch, because at the moment the football looks unattractive. It doesn't look very stylish. And I think for me, we're getting a lot worse. And I think for me, like I said, it's hard to pick a man of the match for us today. I've given 1 to Luton for their goalkeeper Kaminsky for a world-class performance to keep United at bay in the first half as well as in the second half as well, to keep it only at 1-0. But if you're trying to find a man of the match award today for United, I think maybe the obvious one is for Lindelof for finding a goal. And I think I'd also give a massive shout out to Sergio Reguilon. I think for me, they're probably the 2 players that made the most happen out of an impossible situation today. But at least United have won the game. They've won the match, and it's back-to-back Premier League wins and 6 points out of 6. So at least we won. So I hope you enjoyed this match reaction. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, United Red Devils 20. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always put that notification bell on as well for more live content coming up for the last few weeks in 2023 in November, as well as next month in December as well. We've got more Fortnite planned, Rocket League, EA Sports FC 24, more previews, more match reactions in these last few weeks of this year in 2023. And then, we are now, unfortunately, again, in a pointless 2-week international break. So The next preview will be 2 weeks Thursday, where we will be planning for our away game against Everton. That is who United have got up next in the Premier League season on match day 13. And hopefully, maybe we make it 3 wins out of 3. And you never know. Maybe top 4 still on. Maybe European football is still on. And maybe United can get Champions League football next season. I'm not sure. But hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.